I, for one, am just shocked at what happened over the weekend.
He wasn't ready.
Shocked. Shocked.
And welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils Show.
We're going to have a show today.
I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by the Blind Mouse, and we have a special guest behind the Mac today. No longer the deli man. The deli is closed. We now have Pilot Pete.
Wow.
Back behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. The reason that he has now been dubbed Pilot Pete is because he's been on a plane the last 4 Mondays. Right? What, 6 trips in the last 7 weeks? Something like that for Pilot Pete over here. Uncle of Pistol Pete. Just in case anyone was wondering.
By the way,
yeah. I guess I should have said that. Yeah, it is Shane.
No. We did not hire a producer named Pete. And if we did, they'd be named Producer Pete, not Pilot Pete.
Z-Man, Boyd, and Pig in the chat. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. What's up, Deborah? Deborah in here as well. Rubus, we've got some good stuff to talk about, and we got some not so good stuff to talk about.
I wonder which is which.
Yeah.
It pains me to say
Does
this.
it? Does
Totri,
you don't look like you're in pain.
If you know me, you know that I hate saying I told you so.
Okay.
And I hate being right.
Yeah.
And I'd never bring it up.
2 things Erik doesn't hate, actually.
No, I wish I wasn't right. And I wish I wasn't saying I told you so.
Uh-huh.
But
you're telling me or you're telling the ether?
Before we get into the specifics of the Baylor ASU men's basketball game.
Yeah.
It was the single most predictable result of all time. And I hate that that's the case. But I said it on Friday.
Yeah, we went over it, and you definitely were more in the camp that this was going to be an L. I sat up here with, a little bit of newfound faith in Bob, saying that I thought the team was going to beat Baylor. I thought Mo Odom was going to come through for the team. Neither one of those things happened, and they lost. And you sat up here and said, very pessimistically that you didn't believe, that you didn't think they were going to get it done.
I don't think it was pessimistic.
I think it was very pessimistic. I think it was very pessimistic.
I have 11 years of data going on.
I do too. And I chose to be optimistic.
You're in an abusive relationship.
I chose to be optimistic. You chose to be pessimistic. You just so happened to be right.
Like Bobby got you flowers, and you're like, oh, everything's going to be okay.
No.
And then crashed your car on the weekend.
No. Okay. Bought me flowers, and I was like, oh, that's sweet, but he's still kind of a bad coach, And then here we are. They lose the game, and I'm like, they were flowers that you get at a circus.
We talked about going into the game.
Squirt you with water?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, a can of peanuts.
Exactly.
We talked about this going into the game where, if there was any chance of the season being salvaged, of the Bobby Hurley era being salvaged, which quite frankly, we're rooting for this team to be good. We want Bobby Hurley to be successful here. We want Arizona State men's basketball. We want them to go on an insane run for the end of the season. They had to win on Saturday.
Yeah.
And
I was over here saying that I was going to crawl to DFA on my hands and knees, bleeding out of my knees.
If they won the Big 12 tournament, which is still on the
table. It's still technically, a possibility. And I would go apologize to Bob
in a morph suit.
on my hands and knees on a morph suit.
Why do you always want to crawl or walk places? What are you, a baby?
Do I normally
Yeah, you offered to walk to Ann Arbor.
I'm pretty sure you offered that one.
No, you did.
I don't think so.
I am 100% sure that, because I remember.
You're right.
I remember I
said I'm not going to
gaslight
gaslight you here. You're right. I said that. Yeah. Well, look, we didn't have to do it because I was right. Right. So this is same thing. I didn't think I was going to have to. I still don't think I'm going to have to crawl on my hands and knees because I don't think that this team is capable of winning the Big 12 tournament right now.
No. I mean, so if we look at and brave of you to say that, might I add.
Don't worry, guys. They're not going to win the tournament.
Brave of you to say that. When you look at Saturday's game specifically, right?
Yeah.
And I think that if in a vacuum, it's not the worst game ever. I mean, a 5-point loss to Baylor on the road. Baylor, I think, is a little bit better than what the record shows, especially offensively.
I think they're more talented.
They're more talented than what their record shows. And I think you saw flashes of that against Arizona State. ASU falls down early to Baylor, never really gets out of control, and then eventually is able to take a 10-point lead in the first half, scores 40 in the first half. That was the thing with Baylor, is that they can't stop a nosebleed. Like, their defense is terrible, right? You're up 8 going into halftime. You're up 40-32. It's an all-around good team effort. Pig Johnson's playing well off of the bench. Like, I think it's 30 points total off the bench in that game against Baylor. Yeah, you had Alan Mukeba with 10 points in 18 minutes, and you had Pig Johnson with 20 points in 28 minutes to lead the team, right? So you score 40 at the half. You keep Baylor to 32, which their offense is pretty good. And then not only do you not even crack 30 points in the second half, but you allow Baylor to score 41. And it wasn't just one guy scoring for Baylor either, which is like, maybe that's a testament more to Baylor than Arizona State's defense, where it's like, it wasn't just one guy cooking them. But, 4 out of their 5 starters hit double digits, and Caden Powell, who didn't hit double digits, had 8 points.
Yeah.
Right? So their entire starting lineup was able to get in a groove, and Caden Powell was 4 or 5 from the field as well, with 7 rebounds. So, you go into the half. You're following up the number 13 ranked team in the country coming to your town and beating them. You're up 8 against a Baylor team that is, at that point, 3-10 in the Big 12. Right, is a 500 basketball team, and you have an 8-point lead on them, and you come out in the second half and you completely collapse, right? Another 10-point blown lead for ASU this year. Baylor is a team that can certainly pour it in, but if you have a 10-point lead on Baylor, you should be able to score enough to
just put them away.
You only lost by 5.
Yeah.
Right? You score 35 points in the second half, or maybe even like 34. You're winning this game.
Yeah.
Right? It's an unfortunate loss, but it's not a surprising one.
It's kind of what we had talked about, though, like leading into this game. Like, yes, Baylor's record isn't good, right? Even after this, they're not necessarily viewed as like a world-beating team by any means, and we're talking about them beating Arizona State. But like the way that Baylor has really scored all season long, the talent that they have on that roster, which I think was pretty evident if you watched that game, from Cam Card, the pure athleticism that he has, highlight reel type dunks. And then, of course, Tunde, like somebody that we had talked about potentially coming to Arizona State at one point in time as a freshman, 16 points, like was dominant. There wasn't a guy on Arizona State's roster that was capable of competing with those two alone. And Arizona State was able to minimize what they did at times, right? Leading for about 50% of this game, maybe a little bit more than that. But down the stretch is similar to what we saw against Texas Tech, right? Where you are going back and forth with the team, or you're winning, and then you're struggling to put it away, right? We talked a little bit after that Tech win. We didn't want to get too much into it about the team really like collapsing in the last 27 seconds. This was more a collapse of like the last 3 or 4 minutes overall, right? Baylor doesn't miss their last 5 shots. They go 5 of 5. ASU is 1 of 9, right? In crunch time. In a clutch spot, in a moment where you need your best players to be hitting shots, nobody on this team could buy a bucket.
Yeah.
Especially given you bring up the 30 bench points. That's all fine and well. But the issue I have with that is there were 2 players off the bench. It was Alan Mukeba and Pig Johnson.
Yeah, you don't have a deep team.
So you got 30 points out of your bench, which means you only got 38 points from your 5 starters. That's never enough. That doesn't it doesn't matter who you're playing in this conference, whether it's a top shelf team like a Houston or an Iowa State or a Kansas or an Arizona, or a bottom shelf team like a Utah, a Baylor in this instance, or a Colorado, right? Like that's never going to be enough if you're only getting 38 points out of your 5 starters and you ran a 7-man rotation. Like it's just not a winning recipe.
Do you know how many shots Arizona State hit outside of the paint in the second half? So not just from 3, but outside of the paint.
How many total shots?
How many total shots did Arizona State make outside of the paint in the entire second half?
Let's go 7.
1.
Oh, God. Yeah.
They hit 1-3. Mo Odom hit 1-3 in the second half, and that was the only shot that Arizona State made outside of the paint. That did not come until 7:50 left to go in the second half. So almost 13 minutes without a shot outside of the paint. And to give them credit, that 3 put them up 4, right? So they were up 4 against Baylor with under 8 minutes to go. You finally hit a 3, and from that moment on, you score 11 more points. Baylor scores 20. You cannot go a half of basketball hitting one shot outside the paint.
No.
And don't get it wrong. They were taking shots outside of the paint. It was not okay, they just stopped taking threes specifically. Only 2 mid-range shots, but they missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they were 1 of 8 from deep in the second half.
I mean, nobody could buy a bucket from three-point land, right? Like, if you remove Mo Odom, who hit ASU was 6 of 20 from 3 against Baylor. Mo Odom was 3 of 9, right? So slightly better than the overall team percentage from behind the arc. But if you remove all of his threes from the game, like, this is a team that had 3 threes from everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and again, Arizona State hasn't been a relatively good three-point shooting team all year long. It's something that they've definitely struggled with. 6 of 20 is not going to get it done again against the team that we talked about leading into this game in Baylor, that just they find ways to score. They're athletic, and while they do turn it over, right? Again, like, they had 13 turnovers in this game. They had more than ASU. They're going to find ways to keep the games close, which is something they've done, especially during that 4-game skid against really good teams, right? Ranked teams where they were scoring 90 points a game, 70, high 70s, and losing, yes, but losing by like 3-4 points to some of the best teams in the conference.
You want to know how many threes Baylor made in the second half? Just threes.
Just threes. Let's see. They made 9 on the game. I'm going to say 6.
Yep. 6. So they doubled up their threes made in the first half and the second half. They hit 6 to Arizona State's 1. That's the game.
Yeah.
That's the game. And look, you could talk about this team doesn't have shooting, and that's also roster construction as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, you look at the shot charts for both of these teams, and I say, like, shots outside of the paint, majority of the time that's threes. Like, Baylor only hit 2 shots outside of the paint in the second half at all. They're not taking that many either. They only hit 1 outside of the paint that's not a three-pointer, and that was a 14-foot jumper, right? You don't take mid-range shots in today's day and age. And I feel like ASU has good paint presence. Like, Masamba Diop is a good paint presence. He had a nice little putback dunk there. Like, Al Mukeba obviously is shooting in the paint.
Can we talk about that putback for a second?
That was a nice dunk.
That was disgusting.
Yeah. That was a nice dunk.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, there are so many problems with this iteration of the team, but it all kind of gets blinded, Totri, by like this big picture overarching problem that goes beyond this team, right? When you look at Arizona State and you look at the problems that have plagued a Bobby Hurley type team, it is exactly games like Saturday. Games where you're riding high, you pick up a big win, which is also a staple. And to his credit, a staple in the Bobby Hurley era, right? Like, that is something that he does deserve credit for. But you get so much less of it when you can lead up to the next game against an inferior opponent, a team below you in conference play. And granted, it's on the road, but you had a 10-point lead in the first half and an 8-point lead going into halftime. You scored 28 points in the second half. It's always a collapse. There's always a loss like this following a big win. And you can look individually at this game. Oh, the 3-pointers. Oh, the roster construction. Oh, they only go 7 guys deep, which obviously is not a very deep rotation, even though you had 30 points off of the bench. Almost half of your points in this game came off the bench. Yeah, sure, you can look at individual problems, but I don't think any individual problem with this team can overcome the big picture problem that you and I have repeatedly talked about on this show when it just comes to the last 11 years of Arizona State basketball.
Yeah, it's, again, I think for lack of, a better term, it's not enough, right?
Yeah.
And it hasn't been enough. And you could dissect this game. You can go back to previous years, and we kind of talked about it again leading into this game on Friday, of going and giving Bobby credit for those wins, those big wins that he's been able to snag. Feels like every single year on a random Tuesday or Thursday night when you got a top 10, top 15 team coming to town, they find a way to get the job done. But seemingly every single time following those losses, they would find a way to lose. Now, what I will say is, in Bob's defense, normally those games you'd end up playing a ranked Arizona, or back in the Pac-12, you'd end
Sure.
up playing a ranked UCLA. Just based off of the schedule, you would get kind of set up with back-to-back games of tough ranked opponents, and that's going to be really difficult for anybody, especially a team outside the top 25, to have to deal with those two games, right? But you'd always get the win, and then you'd find a way to lose, right? So the reason that when we, again, going back to Friday, had that conversation of, okay, how does this one go? I picked ASU to beat Baylor. Why? Because like you said, Baylor is an inferior team, right? In theory, if you look at what they've done all season long, they're a talented team, yes. They turn it over, and they don't play defense
At all.
right? So Arizona State team, fresh off beating the number 13 team in the country, fresh off their first 2-game win streak in the Big 12 since joining the conference like 2 seasons ago. Yeah, I was riding with Arizona State, but again, this is just it's an unfortunate example of like, this is not just a Bobby thing. This is not like, this game wasn't lost because Bobby Hurley did X, Y, and Z in this game. It's unfortunate that it's gotten to this point, but it's just they're not a consistent group. They haven't been a consistent group all season long. There haven't been a lot of consistent Bobby Hurley teams in the last several seasons, but this isn't just a Bobby Hurley issue. Like, this is overall, like, that the team just let this one slip.
Okay, so Nan1 in the chat says, of course it's the coach's fault. These talented players aren't putting the ball through the net. Now look, let's be completely honest here. When you have a team like this that has a 7-footer shoot 5 of 12 from the field, and only one of those field goal attempts coming from deep, and Masamba Diop, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
You can't be shooting 5 of 12 from the field, or 5 of 11 if you take the 3-pointer out of it. Noah Musin, who we've been giving a lot of credit for how he has been a connector for this team, a 3-point shooter for this team. He's 1 of 9 from the field, 1 of 6 from deep, 3 points on the night. That's not good enough. And I think the problem with all of this is, I get what Nan1 is saying. It is not Bobby Hurley's fault that they lost on Saturday, right? There were a lot of missed shots. I think the problem is, we're not just talking about Saturday when it comes to Bobby Hurley. It's 11 years of the same thing with different rosters. And if you aren't building rosters that are good enough to do what we need you to do, which is win consistently, well, guess who makes the sandwich? Bobby Hurley makes the sandwich, right? And look, you're the coach. You're going to get all the credit in the world when the team wins.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a lot of the blame when the team loses. Yeah, we could talk about an individual player, but at this point, the problems with Arizona State go way beyond what an individual player performance was against Baylor. It's the fact that this Baylor game and what we saw has happened copy and paste over and over and over and over again for 11 years with 11 different rosters, with different talented players, different assistant coaches, different levels of fan support, different conferences. It's the same story. Arizona State beat number 13 Texas Tech, and I had to stop myself on the show afterwards from being overtly negative because I knew that when Saturday came. I knew what was going to happen. And I'm not saying that because, oh, I know so much about basketball. I'm saying that because I've watched Arizona State men's basketball for the last 11 years. I've ridden the highs, and I've experienced all the lows. And I knew that a low was coming. It was impossible not to expect it, at least from my perspective. And that doesn't mean that you don't hope for it not to happen. It doesn't mean that there aren't reasons why it happens, why you can't blame certain players or certain outcomes on it. But there's only been one constant over the last 11 years. And maybe you want to say the men's basketball program and the investment in it. Well, that's been the constant, but it is just, it's not.
You just told Doug Haller the other day, though.
Yeah.
That they were getting an IL. Like, they have decent money.
It's just not working.
No.
It's not all Bobby's fault, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, guess what? You're not going to just not have a men's basketball program, right? Like, the next step is you need changes, right? And in Nan1 says it's an institutional thing. Like, both teams weren't that good either. It's the same stuff as now. It's okay. Maybe that's a conversation to be had, but
you're right. And
I've had this
conversation, though.
That doesn't mean that you just accept it.
No, I've had this conversation. I literally did an entire episode a couple weeks on this of, yes, like the program has never been like elite. Men's basketball has never been elite at Arizona State. Will it ever be? I don't know. But what you have right now doesn't necessarily look like it is a step forward, right? I think Bobby Hurley, if you look at the tenure overall, yeah, I think there have certainly probably been more highs than lows. And that's awesome. Again, the second winningest coach in Arizona State men's basketball history. That's great. That's fine. But again, like, the standard for this program shouldn't be what is going on right now, right? It shouldn't be, oh, you get the occasional win over a ranked team and then you lose, right? Especially you lose a game to Baylor, right? Of all teams. It'd be one thing if we're having a conversation of, oh, they beat Texas Tech and then they went to Houston and lost to the Cougars by however many points, right? Or they went to Ames and they lost to Iowa State by however many points. But that's not the case. That's not what it was. And again, as a fan of the program, I think, again, you should set the bar higher for what you want, right? And again, if you're somebody that wants to go into year 12, then enjoy it. Enjoy whatever this is in a 12th year iteration. Like, that's at that point.
Even if you don't want to blame Bobby Hurley, which and again, I think Nan One's perspective, it's completely welcome here, and I completely understand where you're coming from because it's not just him. Is your argument then just to keep it going? I personally don't even know if you can't say it's just Bobby Hurley's fault, right? Which it's not just Bobby Hurley's fault. Like, I don't think you can still argue that he still got to be getting a chance, right? And I feel like that's something that we can keep on talking about, and I think we should definitely keep on talking about it, but we should do it on the other side of this break.
Look, we have a lot of partners here at PHNX that try and help you save money. We've got partners here at PHNX that sometimes give you a chance to make money. But I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union because they've got a place where you can put your money. Of course, we are talking about Mountain America Credit Union's My Style checking account, and it's got built-in perks and benefits just for you. You guys can enjoy restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and so much more. Make sure you make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Plus, if you support the Arizona State Sun Devils and you are looking for a bank to do so as well, again, look no further than Mountain America Credit Union because your home of Arizona State football is none other than Mountain America Stadium. Learn more at macu.com/ASU, insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit.
I know you notice.
Always. I always notice.
It's the hat. It's the Branded Bills hat. Branded Bills. It's the best hats. Not just for Arizona State fans, but just the best hats, period. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitted, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Plus, we have our own custom Branded Bills hats here for PHNX. That's on our website. And the best part about Branded Bills is that no matter what variety you get top quality. This is the more athletic type hat. These are a lot of like the Branded Bills type hats that I have. I like to wear them when I'm working out, or maybe you're hiking up a mountain. It's getting hot outside. Guess what? You can still throw it in the wash it, and dry it. And guess what? Comes out looking brand spanking new.
Perfect.
Again, plus they also have some like different fabric type hats as well that I've really liked. A little bit fancier. I would not recommend working out in those. They have partnerships, of course, with ASU. They're partners with the Suns, and they're a local company. It's like they're specifically catering to me. Head to brandedbills.com. Use code PHNX for 15% off your first order.
Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts, and scan below over there. That way you guys can take advantage of the Die Hard sale that we have going on right now, Rubus. One of the best ones, if not the best one, on the year. Of course, PHNX Cardinals and Pilot Pete over there, they are heading to Indy for the Combine. So full NFL Combine coverage all week. So what better time to sign up to become a diehard? $36 for year one, saving $44. You can save $44 on a membership, 55% off your membership, Rubus.
I kind of feel bad for JJ because ASU men's basketball beat Texas Tech. He gets to become a diehard.
Yeah, he got to
become a diehard, and he did. But he did it at the full price. But don't be waiting like JJ. JJ had so many opportunities.
So many deals passed him by.
So many opportunities to become a diehard. Literally, Sharon offered to pay for JJ to become a diehard, and he refused it. He said, "I'll do it when they win a game." So Don't be like JJ. Take advantage of
Don't
this.
be like
But
JJ.
be like JJ and become a diehard, and you get access to everything. We're upping our diehard content and everything. It's a super good time. Plus, you get access to that diehard Discord where we chat about all ASU sports, baseball, softball, volleyball, hockey, everything we got going on there. So it's a really good time.
All of the things. Sharon said earlier that this is pretty brutal conference, right? The Big 12 is also an absolutely terrible conference for our basketball program to have to play in. I don't think we'll ever truly invest in basketball, what it will take to compete here. I would say that, again, like just looking at it from a shift here, you get to play in this conference. You get to play in the Big 12, which means so many more opportunities to elevate that brand of Arizona State men's basketball, right? So when the program's at its worst or when it's at a bad spot, which I would argue it is right now, right? One of the worst spots it's probably been in over the last half decade. Like, it is a demoralizing thing to have the types of games that this team and this program have had this season, right? When you are a team like Arizona State is right now. But on the flip side of that, if you do put in money to the program, if you do get the right individual to lead this program, if you do get the right guys on the roster, am I saying that this program is ever going to be a legitimate top 3 Big 12 men's basketball program? Probably not. But again, it is an opportunity every single time that you play a conference game to make national headlines, to actually make waves and continue to build and pour the gasoline on the fire that is this athletic program, trying to get it to where I think the fans want to get it, where Graham Rossini wants to get it, where the alumni want to get it, which is one of, if not the best overall athletic department in the Big 12. But again, if you're going to aim in the middle and going to be like, okay, well, this is a tough conference, you can only get so far.
Nobody's asking for ASU men's basketball to be a top 5 team in the country. JJ in the chat says it. We just want to make the tourney, right? I think the Big 12, I'm not going to say it was like an excuse from Sharon because it's a valid point, but if anything, it should encourage you to invest more rather than invest less. Like, going into the hardest conference in a sport is something that you should be looking forward to because you should be looking to find ways to compete. And we know that Arizona State can field competitive men's basketball teams. Like we mentioned with Bobby Hurley, there have been competitive teams, obviously in a different conference, but there have been competitive teams. This is not like, it's not a school where people don't want to come play, right? Now, does it need a facelift for DFA? All the other kind of like ins and outs of the
stuff
program?
we've discussed already.
Sure, we've discussed it at length, right? You need that to be better for sure, but you can still get very talented kids to come play here, not just because you play in the Big 12, which is a positive. It's a big national recognition booster for you, but because people like coming here. They like playing in Tempe. They like being an Arizona State Sun Devil. There is a little bit of pedigree here when it comes to guys in the league. You look at James Harden, you look at Lou Dort, and you look at some other professional basketball players around the world that have played basketball at Arizona State. So it's not like this is just a complete nothing of a program. I think that's why it's frustrating where they're at right now. But you've got to invest. Like, if you had a chance as a football program to play in the SEC, you'd take that.
Yeah.
Even though it's going to be harder, even though it might actually lead to a worse record for you and you have to invest more and it might look bad in the moment, you still go play in the SEC. You never choose the other way around. You're in the SEC of basketball. And right now, you're not competing. I mean, you're 5-9 in conference, which is better than what a lot of people predicted them to be. They were predicted to be the worst team in the conference, right? So technically overachieving based off of media preseason expectations. You can do better. You can make the tournament. If you're like a 500 team in the Big 12, you're probably making the tournament.
TCU set to make the tournament.
That's all you need to do, right? And Nan one talks about like who's going to be better, right? Who's going to be better than Bobby Hurley?
I hate that argument. It's not even an argument or a question. You got to find somebody.
Lazy.
You got to find somebody.
And maybe the next person you find isn't better than Bobby Hurley. Maybe it's lower and low. Maybe it takes 10 years to find somebody better. I don't know. But what I am not okay with just playing this out and never making the tournament actually.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest here. Like, yeah, they've been in the tournament.
Well, they haven't really been.
But they haven't been in the tournament.
They haven't been in the tournament, right? You don't get a weekend and get to watch Arizona State men's basketball play in the NCAA tournament.
No.
Right? It doesn't happen. And we had a fun, like, 3-day stretch where we were like, hey, if they win out, if they do something crazy, right? You had
Which-
you had 2 wins in a row.
Yeah.
Right? One being over number 13 in the country. And we talked ourselves into it. Not realistically, but like there's a vision there, right? You beat Baylor, you beat TCU, then you get Utah. Okay, those are all reasonable games, especially for a team that is fresh off of its biggest win in the last 2 years, right? And then, of course, you got to get one of the two, either against Kansas, Iowa State. Dropping this Baylor game firmly closes the door on this team being a bubble team. If they win out, it firmly closes the door on any hope of an NCAA tournament bid without winning the Big 12 tournament, which is already something that I do not think in the realm of possibilities, right? When Doctor Strange was trying to save everybody in the Marvel universe, when he was going through however many billions of options there were, and there was one scenario where they all lived, I don't even know if there is that. I don't even know if in all of the billions of possibilities, I don't know if there is half of a chance that they win the Big 12 tournament.
There are some things about the conversations that we were having last week that I'd like to clarify. For
clarify,
people.
huh?
You're going to have to wait a second to hear me clarify, though, because I'm going to clarify on the other side of our second break. Sometimes life is great. Sometimes life throws you a curveball and you end up in a serious accident or suffering a serious injury. And it's very important that you do your research and you call the right lawyer. Mark and Alexis Breyer, they lead the husband and wife law team, and that's the right choice every single time. Not only does their team bring hundreds of years of combined trial experience, they also have multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. You can access your attorney at all times, and they actually go to trial. If your case needs it, they're ready to go, and they know their way around a courtroom because they are, like I said before, experienced. And they're going to guarantee a lot for you. They guarantee that you can cancel your fee agreement at any time for any reason. They guarantee you'll receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they reduce their attorney's fee to do so. You may speak with one of their lawyers as often as you choose about anything you'd like to discuss. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website, the link in our show notes, and tell them that PHNX sent you.
Look, do you want a chance to win a brand new Corvette?
Yes.
If the answer is yes, if it's maybe, or if it's somewhere in between, well, our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, they have that opportunity for you with the fabulous Corvette giveaway running January 16th through April 24th. So still plenty of time to enter that giveaway. 4 casinos, 4 Corvettes, which means 4 chances to win big. Now, we're talking about Wild Horse Pass, Vequiva, Lone Butte, and Santan Mountain. Here's how you guys can qualify on several different days, okay? On Fridays, 6 p.m. through 8 p.m., hourly drawings for free bonus play or a finale entry. Tuesdays and Saturdays, earn 4 times the entries when you play with the card. And then Thursdays, 2 p.m. through 5 p.m., the hot seat finale qualifier, play with the card for your shot. There's also exclusive swag giveaways throughout the entire promotion. And again, still plenty of time because the grand finales aren't until the end of April. So don't miss your chance to accelerate into luxury play, earn, and win at any of their 4 casino locations. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop
Accelerate
a
to that like button, baby.
5-star review wherever you get your podcast. David says we're in the end game now, Totri. David, we've been in the end game. Will says if this is end game, who's sacrificing themselves like Iron Man, I'll do it. I'll sacrifice myself for the betterment of the men's basketball program.
To accelerate the future timeline.
Yep. That's what we're gonna do.
I want to clarify
yourself,
some things.
Captain
Because
Clarification.
not everybody. There are a couple people in here like, are you guys still making the tournament? Oh, you guys are such losers. You thought you were making the tournament.
Is that how everybody
That's how they sound like to me. I don't understand sometimes when we're having a conversation and it's like, hey, we don't think this is going to happen. It's got like a less than 1% chance of happening. But technically speaking, if they were to do this, and this, they'd make the tournament. And people are like, you guys are idiots for thinking they're going to make the tournament. No! Literally what we said is we don't think this is going to happen. But realistically speaking, if they had won all these 5 games, then they were making the tournament. Honestly, if they go undefeated in the next 4,
no,
there's a conversation to be had because you have a win over Kansas and Iowa State. Now, when you lose a game like Baylor and you You're not going to do it. I don't want people to get confused. Like, you're not going to do it. Like, it's stupid to think about it, but it is still technically a possibility. The games haven't been played yet, but that doesn't mean that we think it's going to happen. And I don't think
it's a possibility. I don't think if they win their next 4 games, I don't think that they're a bubble team. I think that loss to Baylor really hurts.
They beat TCU, Utah, Kansas, and Iowa State.
You're not in the tournament. Team. You have to probably win at least one Big 12 tournament game.
One more time.
If they beat,
I know, the last 4 games: TCU,
Utah, Kansas, Iowa State. They would be.
See, here's the thing. Here's why I'm hesitating.
They'd be 18 and 13.
Yeah, here's why I'm hesitating. The amount of 18 to 20 win teams from the Big 12 that I've seen make the tournament with a 10-9 conference record is relatively high.
Their record though in conference wouldn't even be 10-9.
If they won the next 4 games, they'd be 9.
It would be 9-9. So I would say they would be among the first 8 out. So they might be right outside the first 4 out. The only thing that gives me pause is that they would be playing their best basketball. They would have won 5 of their last 6, beating 3 ranked teams.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
That being said,
you dug yourself into such.
No, it's not going to happen.
I will tell you this though: he's winning that They're winning that Kansas game.
You want to put something on
the last home game of the Bobby Hurley era against Kansas.
You're right. That is
that game. And then they're losing to Iowa State. They're so winning that game.
They're winning that game, and then they're losing to Iowa State by 50.
They're losing to Utah. They're going to lose to Utah at home the game before. The worst team in the Big 12. And then the final home game, Bobby Hurley is going to pull off some Bobby Hurley magic, and they're beating D.
I don't
and
even
Peterson.
Think we call it magic anymore. It's not magic. It's tomfoolery. That's what Bobby pulls.
He's 100.
Bob foolery.
I might just straight up put like $200 on ASU money line.
Really? Wow. You want to just let me hold it for you?
They're going.
I'll light it on fire for you. That would be a
don't win the game, I'll crawl to Desert.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Get it.
They're not going to do it. Will says they need to make the Big 12 tournament semis to sniff the inside of the bubble. What is the outside of the bubble?
I was about to say, what is the inside of the bubble?
That would include beating another 2 ranked teams. Yeah, I don't see a world where even if they would have to win out and win at least 1 game in the Big 12 tournament. I don't think that those 4 are enough to push you in probably over other bubble teams in this conference, especially considering like you have to remember that if you win the tourney for all these conferences, it's an auto bid.
Yeah.
Right. So there are teams that are favored that aren't going to ultimately win. Right, there are teams that have no business probably winning their conference tournaments that probably will and will steal a couple bids. Right,
one says I'm all in for Bob.
That's exactly It's not magic anymore. It's awesome. Bob. I want Bob Foolery to be the next coach.
Foolery's great.
To be the next coach of Arizona State men's basketball.
That's awesome. Bob Foolery rocks.
No longer magic.
It doesn't help the bubble talk that Cincinnati picked up a really big win over Kansas.
Yeah, you see, apparently, like the Kansas athletic department. Like the AD had a closed door meeting with Bill Self after that.
It was the largest. It was their largest home loss since 1973.
Hey Bill, you want to be the coach of Arizona State? You want to Bill Foolery?
Because it doesn't help that BYU beat Iowa State by 10 over the weekend, right? Kansas loses to Cincinnati. Those are 2 teams that are probably going to drop in the rankings by the time that Arizona State plays them, even if they drop kind of marginally. Right, so you already have other teams picking up win. Like TCU is still.
David says I got by the internet. No closed door meeting.
Oh, dang! You got Bob Foolery.
I got Bob Foolery. I got Bill Foolery.
Got more than that. Anyone I
know.
No,
I feel like Bob Foolery. You know, like the fake reporter accounts where they have like an AI generated headshot. Like Bob Foolery is the.
Bob Foolery is a great. It should go with Bob wherever he goes next.
Bob Foolery.
Yeah, you've been fooled by Bob.
Yeah, it's just not a.
Shane didn't like that one as much as I thought he did, and then he would.
It's not a. It's not a conference where the middle of the pack has really given you any breathing room, right? You'd have to probably see TCU. You have to beat TCU on the way there, but you have to see TCU and Cincinnati full on collapse and fall off the cliff, and then you have to go undefeated and make some noise in the Big 12 tournament just for you to be in that conversation. It's just not going to happen.
No. It's not going to happen, and it's going to be the end of this era, and that's okay. I don't want anybody to lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to hear Nan1's answer about, like, are you advocating to retain Bobby Hurley? Because there are, I think, some people who
you're asking Nan1?
Nan1, because Nan1's been a very staunch Bobby Hurley defender.
Is he not a U of A guy?
No, Nan1 is not I don't know where that came from. I know Will brought that up. Nan1 has been in here talking ASU and has been pro ASU for a long time. He just disagrees. And I'm just curious because you don't know if you can get somebody better. Like, if news came out tomorrow that there's a Bobby Hurley 5-year extension.
Nan1 says he's good for it. Good for it as in...
Like, good, like, would be happy about
You're good for year 12 of Bob? You're good for that one?
But that's the thing is, like, what's one
dozen
more
years
right?
of
like,
Bobby
what's
Hurley?
like what's going to be fixed in one? What's going to be fixed in one
Bob's
more
dozen?
year? Bob's dozen?
I can't, man. I can't do year 12. I can't. I won't. I choose not to do it. I can't do it. I would lose my mind if I had to go another year of a Bobby Hurley basketball team. What I will say is the post-game comments on year 12 would go insane. Bob might start ripping like stuff in like made up languages.
So
post-game.
I've started to be buying in on people that everybody else hates or is out on. Like, over the last 2 weeks, I've become a huge Mick Cronin guy.
I
think he's absolutely...
Nobody's a Mick Cronin guy.
He's so fun. Ejecting your own player and then turning to a reporter and be like, "Are you raising your voice at me?" is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
You gaslit him so hard.
I've never been more in.
It's funny, but it's also
irresponsible.
Pathetic.
I've never been more in on Mick Cronin than I have been over the last 2 weeks. I'll say that.
Well, give Jordan Ott to the Sun Devils.
No, I'm good on that.
And then Mick Cronin can be the head coach of the Phoenix Suns.
I'm all in on Darren Peterson. I'm all in.
Why?
Because I think the discourse is
all in for.
He had a hamstring injury. Like, I just
it's just because you're all in on 2-day work weeks. That's what it is.
I think that he's gonna be really good, and I think people are overthinking it. So I'm all in on Darren Peterson.
No, you're all in on him as an NBA player, not as a college basketball player.
I mean, I think that there's a chance that he just goes crazy in the tournament if he plays, but I think he's been in there. Like, I don't think he doesn't want to play. People are questioning his character. That's why I think, like, it's turned too much.
I mean, he played 18 minutes and then pulled himself.
I might get to the point where I'm like, screw it. Let's run it back. Let's just see what happens.
With Bob?
Give him another 1 year deal.
With Bob?
Give him a 1 year deal.
No, man.
Give him a 1 year deal and see what happens.
No.
I've completely changed my mind about this.
No. We're not doing it.
Give him a 1 year deal.
Veto it.
Trevor Best, starting point guard.
No. Nope.
40 and 20.
I won't do it. I would love to see what the roster would look like. I'd love to see which, like, random player they were able to get from a mid-major this time around, right? Who leads the team, goes for 20 a night, and then, you know.
It's getting to the point where it's almost funny.
No. Let's get something very clear. It is funny.
Yeah,
it's absolutely hilarious. The season's been super funny, but it's like funny. You're laughing at it on your way out, right? That's kind of what it is.
It's the
you wouldn't be laughing if you were like
laugh and then you go to the serious.
Yeah, well, you're laughing because you know this is it, right? Like, you wouldn't be laughing if you had like 3 more years. Yeah, you wouldn't be laughing anymore. You would be crying. That's what that would be. So, you know, it is what it is at this point in time. They're not going to make a tournament. If they do, like, I don't know, Shane will
stop flying.
Yeah,
he'll start walking.
Shane will learn how to fly a plane.
Bus.
Yeah, he'll take the bus. Where are you gonna take the bus to?
Mm-hmm.
Indy. Bus to Indy.
3 DMK says Sean Miller to ASU. I don't think the air conditioning in DFA is good enough to handle that.
That's brutal. That's brutal. Look, we've talked a lot about the bad stuff. I don't want to talk about the bad stuff anymore. I want to talk about the good stuff, okay? So no more Bob's dozen, no more Bob foolery. We're going to get into Arizona State baseball on the other side of our final break.
Do you want to multiply the good things in your life?
Yes.
Seems like a pretty easy question. And there's a pretty easy way to do it because with multiplier scratchers from our friends over at the Arizona Lottery, it's the perfect way to multiply all the good things in your life, like vacation, relaxation, and celebration. Would you take it if I could multiply those things?
All of it.
Well, I can't do it. But the scratchers over at Arizona Lottery can, because with over $270 million in prizes, you could win big enough to do more of the things that you love. And if maybe you don't want to multiply the good things in life, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but you can also triple the fun with triple-themed games over at the Arizona Lottery. You can play triple red sevens and triple cash payout scratchers for a chance to win top prizes of $100,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of fun. The thing with the scratchers is it's also fun to have the whole experience, especially if you want to maybe give a gift or you're getting together with somebody. Boom, take the scratcher out, scratch it, and use Triple Red 7's Fast Play, which has a progressive jackpot starting at $30,000. Find all 3 tickets at a retailer near you. Of course, Circle K being our favorite.
Absolutely. Look, saving money is hard, but that's exactly why you guys should sign up for Inner Circle. It's Circle K's free membership program because they're trying to help you save money every single day on little things like snacks and drinks, and then, of course, necessities like gas. So go to the App Store, download the app, enter your email and phone number, and that's it. That is all it takes to be a part of Inner Circle. Again, Circle K's free membership program. And once you are enrolled, next time you pull up to a pump at a participating location, type in that same phone number that you used to enroll, and you guys are going to save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And if that's not enough, even after your first 5 fill-ups, you guys could save about 5 cents a day every day. Plus, Circle K has these amazing things called Inner Circle Fuel Days, where sometimes you guys can save about 40 cents off per gallon. The savings, they add up. So make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We appreciate everybody watching live, listening on audio, watching after the fact as well. Rubus, there is good in the world.
There's great.
And it's at Muni, ASU Baseball, 7-0 for the first time since 2019. Another series sweep over the weekend over St. John's. At this point in time, Arizona State has outscored their opponents in the first 7 games, 69-26.
Now, I'm new to this whole baseball thing.
That's a lot.
Is that good?
That is it's really
so
good.
This isn't like golf.
It's Willie good.
Oh, Willie good.
Shane didn't like that one.
That was baseball.
No, it sucks because I wouldn't rip.
This team has been on a heater, man.
Dude, they've been awesome, and it's been on both sides of the plate as well. Now, the last game against St. John's, a little like right off the bat, you got a little worried, a little sloppy, a couple errors. You're down 2-0, and then it was bang, just
literally in the bottom of the third.
Ball.
It's cool.
Boom.
I got it.
It's over. And I think what's really fun about this team is like you're seeing some of the young guys too, kind of begin to step up, and Kai McGarry got his first collegiate start. And he reached base all 5 times that he was at the plate. 3-hit game, scored 3 runs, and walked twice. 6 players on this team had multi-hit performances. We might just have the best bats in the Big 12. Honestly.
That's something that this team has always had, though. Like, Willie's teams have always been able to absolutely go yard. They've been phenomenal since he's been here in terms of offense. But it's always been consistent pitching. It's always been, do they have enough arms to get them to where they need to go when the bats occasionally dip, right? Because that's the nature of a baseball season, right? Is you're not going to be able to be on fire for every single game. But the thing that's impressed me the most about this team thus far through 7 games is the same thing that impressed me about this team through 3 games, is that, yes, they're scoring a lot of runs, right? That's not a surprise. Again, you get 16 on Sunday against St. John's. Last week, you had 17 against UConn. You had 9 on Friday, again, against St. John's. Double digits against Omaha in that second game. You had 11. But even in the games where their bats aren't on, right, specifically that Saturday game, you're still able to find a way to get the job done in a 3-1 game. You go back earlier, right, against Omaha. 6 runs for this team isn't a lot, right? 6-4 game, you find a way to get it done. They've had those comeback performances, right? Just as recent as this weekend when you're down in the third 2-0, and then you go crazy in the bottom of the third, 5 runs, Boom, you're back on top. From there, it wasn't even close. That has been the biggest turnaround for me watching this baseball program through the first 7 games is, yes, the bats are still on fire. Yes, the pitching has been better than I thought it was going to be, and it's been better than, it's been already in previous seasons. But they're finding ways to win, which is such an important thing for this program. And I know people hate the cross-sport comparisons, but I think we've, over the last several weeks, talked a lot about women's basketball, talked a lot about how, the football program did it when they first started to have that shift, where it's, you just got to find ways to win, right? It doesn't always got to be pretty. You don't always got to outscore your opponent by 10-plus runs. You don't always got to score, 4 runs. If you find a way to get the job done, that is all that matters. And again, not everything has been perfect about this team yet. They're 7-0. They're undefeated.
If you look at their pitching, anybody that's pitched at least 4 innings outside of Easton Barrett, who has an 11.25 ERA, which, if you're new to baseball, is not great. The highest ERA for anybody who's pitched at least 4 innings, besides that, is 2.25 from Josh Butler, who's only pitched 4. You look at Cole Carlin, who's pitched 11 innings. It's the most by anybody on the team so far this year.
Your ace.
1.64 ERA, 2.0 win-loss. 2 games. 2 starts. 2 wins. You have Cole Linder, who is a 2.08 ERA in 8.2 innings. You have Jaden Alba, who has a 0 ERA in 7 innings in 2 appearances. I mean, you've got some guys that can pitch. And if you can pair that with the bats that you've seen, and Will says it, like St. John's only scored 2 runs in the series total.
And these aren't bad teams. Like,
no, I mean, St. John's isn't great.
I want to get that very clear.
Currently.
But they're not, like, horrible. Like, even UConn.
UConn went and beat the crap out of Arizona?
Well, everybody beats the crap out of
Arizona. They're terrible
at this point in time. But, like, UConn, like, I think it was last year, they had started off 0-5 and then ran, like, 30 games in a row. Right? Like, they're not a bad program by any means. Right? And, again, just look what they did to Arizona. Right? So, like, they're not doing these against, like, slouch opponents. Now, the biggest test that you're going to have all non-con is ahead of you now, right? When you look at the schedule, you've got several matchups against SEC-level opponents starting as soon as, tomorrow? Yeah, you've got 2 games at Oklahoma, and then you've got Mississippi State, then Tennessee, and then A&M. Right, in your next 2, 3, 4, 5 games, if you can get out of these games at 3-2, this team needs a number next to their name. You could argue this team maybe needs a number next to their name now, but if they find a way to go 10-2 through these 10 games, right, or whatever their record, I guess 5 of these games, right? So if they're 10, it would be 10-2. Like, if they find a way to do that with wins over some of these opponents.
Oklahoma's the 13th ranked team in the country.
Yeah.
They're also 7-0 right now. I mean, I think if you beat Oklahoma, if you sweep them or if you split 1-1, you got to be in the conversation for being ranked.
Yeah.
You've got to. Because if you're still going to be undefeated, you're going to be dominant in the way that you are, and then you go and you pick up big wins over, another ranked program. Yeah. Yeah, you need to be ranked.
Yeah, because again, you got Oklahoma, like you had mentioned, right? Number 13 in the country. Then you got Mississippi State. Mississippi State's currently number 4 in the country. They're 8-0. And then, again, Tennessee, they're number 20 in the country. So you got Texas A&M number 23 in the country.
Okay, so you've got all ranked
all 5 games that you play next are all ranked opponents.
Yeah. And they're all on the road.
Yeah.
None are at home. It's a 2-game series at Oklahoma, and then it's the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series where you take on Mississippi State, Tennessee,
at the
and
Texas Rangers
Globe Life Field.
Yeah.
So you are in for a murderer's row. You're gonna really know who this baseball team is. Williams says take 2 of 5 this week, and you're in the top.
I'm pumped
25.
to watch it though.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be exciting. Pick up, beat Oklahoma. You're probably gonna lose Mississippi State, for being honest here. Top 5 team, top 4 team.
Nah, he's not a pessimist though, remember.
In the country. Just being a realist here.
Really.
But if you could pick up a win over Oklahoma and then split Tennessee and A&M, I'd like that a lot.
I'm here for it. Let's get her done, huh?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, guys. That is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, drop a 5-star review on your way out. If you want to keep up with all things Arizona State, which includes hopefully some interviews from those Sun Devils in Indy at that NFL Combine, well, give the show a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils on X, on Instagram, and on TikTok. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You could follow the Blind Mouse here at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. And of course, you can follow Pilot Pete at Shane Deef.
Gonna be talking to Keyshawn Elliott as always.
Keyshawn Elliott.
On Wednesday, I think. Yeah, he speaks on Wednesday, as always.
And we will see you guys on Tuesday. In the meantime, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.